You struggle with self-improvement because you're not making it fun. When you treat something like a grind, it becomes work, and work isn't fun. Self-improvement doesn't look like locking in and going monk mode. It looks like building a fun, happy life where you are healthy and fulfilled. I have an abundance of great friends, and doing the good things is easy for me. Here's exactly what you should do to make this your reality. Step 1 is hobby maxing. If you're starting from scratch, then I envy you because there's so much that you can do to improve your life. You can start the gym or a new sport or learn a skill. You can get into an activity like hiking. You build all these up by just doing one at a time, focusing on it for a few weeks, and then once it becomes a routine, move on to the next thing. So for example, start with the gym by just buying a membership, go in for a couple of weeks. Get consistent, watch videos, and learn as much as you can. After a month, this becomes your routine, and you can move on to the next thing. At this point, you can buy a guitar, and you can start just learning songs from YouTube, teaching yourself how to play. Learn the basics of how it works for a few weeks, and see if you enjoy it. Some things you won't enjoy, and now you have the experience, you know why you didn't like it, but sometimes you'll find something which you genuinely enjoy, and it won't even be a hassle for you to stick with it because it's fun for you. Go deep into these hobbies, really become obsessed with them and enjoy them, and then meet other people which share your interests. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was going solo on this journey, when if I did it with a friend or tried to meet people, it would have been a lot more enjoyable. The other thing is making sure you're in high quality environments. If the endeavor is physical fitness, then that means going to all the gyms in your area and going to the nicest one based on the community feeling, the vibe of it, and just how much you enjoy it. So keep trying as many new random things as possible until you have a system and a routine of things that you enjoy and that you're passionate about. Step 2 is life setup. Life setup is just your environment, so the people you surround yourself with, the places that you go to, and the actual location that you live in. For me, with self-improvement, the two most important things is good mental health and a good social life and network. You should constantly be trying to improve your social skills, speak to new people, and have new experiences. So you need to be somewhere active. This could be a city or just a bustling town with good energy. It depends where you are. This might mean that you need to move out to a new place. I recommend getting a house share or having a roommate, and your house expenses will be around £600 a month. With all your food bills and everything else, that'll cost around £1,000 a month. £1,000 a month is pretty doable. It's covered by a university loan or a part-time job around 20 hours a week. Try and keep your expenses low so you have more free time to do the things that you enjoy. Now that you have the right environment, just speak to loads of people and see who you click with. Invite them to do the things that you're already doing, which is the hobbies that I mentioned before. Step 3 is to get on good habits. Habits are slightly different from what I mentioned before with the hobbies. The things that I mentioned before are genuinely fun when you're consistent in them. When you try something new, you're not good at it, you're a beginner, and it's hard, and so it's not encouraging to keep at it. However, once you push past the valley of despair, you get to a point where you start to understand it and enjoy it, and you see the potential for progress. When you then make progress in that area, it becomes addictive. So something like an instrument or a new language or the gym becomes very addicting, and it becomes your fun. Habits aren't so much things you make progress in, they're lifestyle choices which changes the way you live. It's things like meditating, reading, getting morning sunlight. It's things that make you healthy and give you better sleep, etc. It's small choices which over time accumulate to make you more happy and knowledgeable. I'll cover a few of the basic important good habits. So meditation, this is just the practice of not being stimulated and being at peace, being at one with yourself, just focusing on your breath. You sit in a comfortable position and you just start to think about nothing and clear your mind. And you focus on your breath just like that. You can do this for 3 or 5 or 10 minutes, and once you do this more and more, you become more mindful. It's a way to just zone out of everything, because when you're awake, everything is just zoom, 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 constantly coming at you. And if you can train yourself to just let it all go away and just focus on being present and at one, then it makes you more calm and it makes you make better decisions. Reading is another one. Reading is absolutely a skill because it takes concentration to be able to learn how to read, and also how to implement the things that you read. My advice is to become interested about a topic like social skills, for example, and you read a book on that topic. And you create a habit of reading 10 pages at a time, and you build it up. Then you can start to implement the things you've read by doing what it says in the book and thinking about them during the day, and it just becomes part of your personality because you just spend time reading it, absorbing the information. I personally read for about 15 minutes before bed, and it's like a low stimulation, away from the light, and it helps get me to fall asleep. Morning sunlight is a great one. One of the worst habits you can have is pulling out your phone first thing in the morning and spending an hour in bed before you do anything. Your body needs sunlight to regulate the circadian rhythm, which is responsible for making you feel tired at night, and you feel awake and alert when you get morning sunlight especially. Whether you go for a walk in the morning or sit in the garden or on a terrace where you can just absorb the sun and not have any screens in your face, keeping you stuck and inside. Because of the earlier steps where you have purpose and you have friends, you have a reason to be present. When you have bad mental health, you don't want to do good habits because you want a distraction away from your reality. The importance of the earlier lifestyle changes is that it creates a good reality for ourselves where we want to be present and we want to engage with it. So then these habits is just what you're going to do in your downtime, and it's things that regulate yourself and just make you happier. Step number 4, quit bad habits. So the mistake that people make is realizing that something like social media is bad for you and your mental health, and so you delete the app or try to quit it. The problem is that they don't replace it with anything that's healthy and fun, therefore their life just becomes boring and it becomes so easy to reinstall it and just relapse, and the cycle continues. Trying to quit something on willpower alone is basically impossible. You need to change your life, and that's why it comes after things like implementing good habits and increasing your network, social skills, all of that stuff, life setup. When you do something like a sport or going to the gym, you don't want to smoke because it gives you a bad feeling, because you want to be pushing as much weight as possible, going as hard as possible, and you have that tight feeling in your throat, you don't feel the healthiest, and it's more encouragement to quit smoking. Therefore, it serves as motivation to quit your bad habits to be better and more locked in at the things you're already doing. Now, cravings for bad habits are most intense in the first few weeks. Again, let's take smoking as an example. In the first week, it's going to be constant cravings. You're going to be almost itching, only being able to think about having a cigarette, and you just have to really use willpower, honestly, for the first week. There's no other way to go about it. Between week 1 and 2, you'll get a bit of a withdrawal period where you're still going to be craving it, but not as intensely, and you kind of feel lower energy. You have to feel worse before you feel better. It's after around 2 weeks where you actually start to feel better and the cravings start to minimize. After a month, your body is well and truly on the way to repairing itself, and eventually, if you keep on not doing the bad habit, your baseline dopamine will go up and you'll feel less dependent on it and happier overall. I would advise to quit your bad habits one at a time. To do this, you need to make them difficult. To give an example, I'll show you how I quit Instagram. I unfollowed loads of people, so I only follow like 100 people, and then I muted the stories and posts for everybody. I then followed loads of accounts which just post blank screens, and it made it so that when I went on my homepage, there was nothing to see. There was no like suggested post. It was just these colors, and it was another reminder of, oh yeah, I don't use this website. I then delete the Instagram app, and I have something called Meta Business Suite, which allows you to see messages, so I know that I haven't missed anything because I can always just check on there and I'm not tempted into doom scrolling. So do this with your bad habits one by one, make them harder and make them more invisible so you don't have to use willpower to quit them. Just repeat this, rinse and repeat until you have basically no more bad habits. There's certain bad habits which are acceptable. Things like having a social drink when you're with your friends, or at night watching a bit of Netflix or YouTube is fine and won't harm your life. It's more things during the day which distract you, like short form content, which actually take from your productivity and even your social ability. So quit any of this stuff which is actually damaging your life actively. The final step, number 5, is to set big goals and achieve them. Now you have a healthy, holistic life. You have a good environment and friends, and you have good habits and not bad. Now it comes down to you individually. What do you want for your own life? What do you want to achieve? Whether that's being the master of a skill, maybe you want to travel, maybe you just want to achieve something, set up a business, whatever it may be. You should write down what you want to achieve in the next 6 months. What would help you live the happiest life possible? What's something that you really want to achieve? Make it something that's hard but realistic, and then grind as hard as you can for the next 6 months to achieve that thing. Whether it's building a good body, where you have to be in the gym really consistently, you're learning all about diet, fitness, learning new food recipes, where you can just spend all day grinding on this new endeavor. Work your way to achieving this purpose layer, and then when it's done, you can go on to the next thing, and that next thing unlocks a better life. Once you have all these achievements, like improving your social skills and having a better body and having had traveled, your life just becomes better and more interesting. This is the right way. This is the way to actually do it. I put the work in, but it was slow. I was trying to quit bad habits first, and I wasn't really sure which order to do things in, but if I did something more like this, then I would have made that progress much faster. It's not the case that you need to become a different person first, and then you can enjoy your life. You should be building yourself whilst enjoying your life. And every year, realistically, if you're putting in the work, should be more enjoyable than the last. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I talk loads more about this and a bunch of different topics in my mental health course. It's the first link in the description, so please get some value out of that if you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.